Does anyone ever say, you know what, you've done a good job because everyone else has sat on their ass and done nothing? No signs of that, no?
Oh, Gillian Keegan, wash your potty mouth out with soap and water. Oh, not a good start, especially the first day back from recess as well, eh? Well, after our Education Secretary had answered an urgent question by basically saying, well, me, Gov, nothing to do with me with the fact that our schools are turning to rack and ruin. I'm only Education Secretary, and my party have only been in power for 13 years. Then she was asked questions, and it didn't get any better for her when she was asked questions like, what are you doing about it? What are your plans? Well, then Labour's Dame Dinah Johnson had a question, and then she had a rather interesting suggestion.
As we've heard already that the capital budgets for this year are going to be raided to pay for the government's failure and incompetence over the last 13 years in maintaining and rebuilding our schools, can the Minister just explain to me what will happen to schools like Hall Road in my own constituency, desperately in need of a rebuild? Will it actually get the rebuild now? And if the Minister's really short of cash in her department, perhaps one option might be to bring in a swear box to raise a few bucks.
I thank the honourable lady for her joke, but as a Scouser I have a bit of a higher bar, I think. But it's not, in addition to our targeted work on RAC, we have continued to invest in improving the condition of the school estate with over 15 billion allocated since 2015, including 1.8 billion committed for 23-24. That's informed by the consistent data on the condition of the estate. By the way, the Labour programme, which was absolutely scathing reports about it, didn't even look at the condition. It was not a factor or a criteria. On top of this, we will transform 500 schools through our school rebuilding programme. So we will still be continuing with the school rebuilding programme, prioritising those buildings in the poorest conditions and those with evidence of safety issues.
Fantastic question. Very good suggestion. I wholeheartedly agree. But it didn't end there either for our chubby brown impersonator, Gillian Keegan, because another Labour MP, Kate Osborne, got in on the potty language as well.
St James's RC Primary School in my constituency had critical rack identified in June. Despite what the Secretary of State told the media this morning, this has not been immediately fixed and the school is now closed. Ministers and the DfE guidance has been contradictory on funding temporary costs, and the school has been told to fund travel and temporary arrangements themselves. This is not acceptable. Can the Secretary of State confirm a timetable for works to make schools safe and that all costs will be fully funded? And finally, can the Secretary of State make clear the Secretary of State made clear earlier today that she does not consider this situation to be her fault or her responsibility. So maybe she can tell us who she thinks has been sat on their asses.
Well, I think, as I made the point to the journalist earlier, I made an off-the-cuff remark at the end of an interview which was already finished. But in terms of what I was responding to, effectively the journalist had given me an interview which made everything my fault. You know, everything in 1994 was my fault when I was working somewhere else, everywhere I was working. So I pointed out to the journalist that off the cuff that's what I said. And no, not thin-skinned at all. It was something that I said off the cuff. But in terms of that school, which is a much more serious issue, if it's on the critical list, some of the ones that are on the critical list were closed if they had a large degree of RAC. Now, those children should be being accommodated, and if they're not, if there's not a plan to do that, the school, okay, well, the mitigations that will be put in place for that school are something that the Department for Education will be paying for.
Please, can we use temperate language?
Stop it so PC, Nigel Atkins. What a clown she is, isn't she? Oh dear, oh dear. I just love Dame Dinah Johnson's facial expressions when she's stood up there making herself look an eye prize monter, didn't she? She had a proper Gordon Brown moment, didn't she? Remember when he said that bigoted woman line? Yes, proper Gordon Brown moment, wasn't it? What do you guys think? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, it all helps. And if you're new to my channel and you like stuff, especially in the select committee meetings and the odd occasional bit from the House of Commons, well, that's all I do. So subscribe, what I'm going to do. And it just leaves me to say, I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.